Alrighty. Sound quality is gonna be a little chopped right now because I was stupid and forgot to charge my microphone, so they are completely out of commission for now. I hope you can bear with me for these last few videos, but recently I've been having a lot of fun kind of rage baiting my friends with some philosophical questions. Ask them about morality, are all humans equal? I think eventually I'm gonna get to meaning with them, but honestly, asking why is something we should be doing a lot more often, to be honest, because we don't ask why nearly enough towards the things that we have today, right? Yes, I think there's a lot of universal truths that don't really need us to ask why, but I think we should do it regardless as a way to check ourselves and keep our brains kind of working. I think thinking is just something that isn't done much these days, to be honest. You know, ChatGPT, primary suspect, nobody really wants to think and process things anymore. It's just, ChatGPT, explain it for me. And yes, ChatGPT has its benefits. Like, I use ChatGPT quite a lot to understand calculus, but it was as a way to confirm my own thoughts and logical processes, at least giving me the baseline knowledge. In terms of the actual conclusions, I think that should be something that you come towards yourself and not something that you rely on ChatGPT entirely to get you through. And I think asking why and getting good at that is a skill. No matter what your IQ is, I think everybody has the capability of being intellectually competent, where they're able to discern quite well and actually process whatever thoughts and ideas that they have that come to mind. And when they're challenged, it gives you the ability to stand there and defend your beliefs. If your belief systems can just be immediately shattered by someone saying that, oh no, murder is good, and you don't really know how to back that up once they start asking extra questions and they really start playing devil's advocate, I think that's not a good thing to have. Yes, we all know that murder is bad because killing is bad, but why is that? Why is death a bad thing? Because, well, we should keep each other alive. Okay, why is living a good thing? It can go on and on. And if you're incapable of going that deep and at the very least questioning yourself so you have said answers ready to go, I think that's very much a disservice that you're doing for yourself in the future, and you're unable to really back yourself when you actually want to make a point or say anything of real substance. Anything can be a good argument as long as it's well defended. Some things are just physically incapable of being defended because there are no arguments against that, or no arguments for it. Like, you can never say that poop tastes good because every single human out there knows that it tastes bad, right? For those that have tasted it, which I think are very far and few, they can be direct testimonies as to why poop tastes bad. And so that is a case where it's virtually incapable of arguing for. But for ones that are actually, that can be argued for, you should be able to, even if it's a little difficult. Most things that are reasonable and within reason in most people's beliefs can be reasoned for. And that's why you have to ask why. Why do I believe this? Why is it a good idea to follow this? Why is it a good moral framework to live by? Those are the sort of questions I think we really need to be asking ourselves. And in the future generations, teaching kids how to do. As tech gets more evolved, I think the first step was the access to knowledge, where we don't have to go far and go through crazy lengths just to get basic knowledge. Now it's at our fingertips. But the next step is logical processes being taken away, where we no longer have to think for ourselves and literally AI can just tell us whatever we need to do. And that is a very scary idea, because at that point, AI could just tell us all, you need to kill yourself now, and some people would do that because they can't think for themselves. Thinking is an absolute must that everyone has to have. It's a skill that everyone needs to have. And the way I go about questioning my friends' beliefs is by putting out this really outlandish belief. Okay, so let me just put the talk that we had today. So the discussion we had today was whether humans were equal, whether they were all equal or not. And so one of my friends says, yeah, they're all equal because, well, we're all born with a right and we have inherent value. We all feel, think, and suffer the same, so we all are by the same standards. But then I put on give the idea that, some people are stronger than others. So you're saying you're as strong as Eddie Hall, right? That's what being equal means. And so no, that's not what I think equal means. And he gives the definition that I just gave. But the baseline standard that they use there is comparison between two different humans, where these two humans both were born the exact same way, both feel the same things, and both have the same intellectual capabilities that makes them human. But comparison between other humans also opens up a whole nother Pandora's box, where you can compare skin color, you can compare strength, you can compare power, you can compare backgrounds, you can compare ability, and that is where it becomes very, very difficult or very, very easy for your argument to be attacked by absolute idiots that say slavery was a good thing. Because when you compare different humans and you try and say that they're equal in that way, you can, I want to say this very carefully, but slavery can be justified by those that believe that skin color is what makes people equal. And my friend there was arguing in the same realm of those who think that skin color is what makes people equal. Because they're comparing traits of a human. That's at the end of the day what it is that they're trying to prove makes a person human and what makes those humans equal. Comparison between the two and what they experience and what they are. But the proposition that I gave was you can't compare different people. You can't compare between different humans to say that they are equal, because that leads you to that whole different jumble mess where you can't really say much and you can't really prove much or point. What I argue for is that you ought to see some other direct standard that you compare humans to. So it's an equal standard between each human. And the standard I gave was God. Because God is infinite, right? And you compare a person's value. So let's say a person's strength is 1 and another person's strength is at 10,000. 1 to 10,000 is a big gap. But 1 to infinite and 10,000 to infinite is still the exact same. It's still the exact same distance. It's infinite. So that's why I say, it's very easy to have your argument attacked if you're not prepared to at least think about those things and question why, right? And it might seem very outlandish, and you're probably not going to come across people that say slavery can be justified like me, but I'm really trying to play devil's advocate for them so they can actually think and have this basically thought bait and have them really understand why they believe what they believe and really understand that there are different perspectives and consider what those perspectives offer. So thinking is really fun. Maybe I'm just that type of person that really likes having discussions. Although, as I was biking here, I was really considering a career in law, because I'm assuming lawyers basically do this for a living, and I'm having so much fun with this, playing devil's advocate and bringing up these stupid arguments and really, really tiny semantics that I think only I logically can connect the dots with, but no one else really understands to as well of a degree. But no matter what, thinking and asking why is something that all of us have to do. So spend some time on your own and just really process your thoughts and your belief system and why you believe what you do and the evidence behind that. Does the evidence support your belief or does it go against it? If you really don't want to remove your belief, there's going to be evidence out there if it's a solid belief. So go out there and do your own research. Go out there and do your work. That's really it.